Hi, Ali from Alys Inky Fingers here, and today we're going to show you how to make this faux leather bag. It's a perfect little bag for taking on holiday or for an evening out. It's got a lovely turn clasp on the front to keep it secure, and inside we've made a lovely matching little coin purse, because obviously you don't want a big purse in here. So it's all lined and it's wadded on the front and the back, not in the gusset because that makes it too thick to sew. So I'm going to try and help you with things that make it easier to sew. First of all, you need to have a leather needle. So it'll say leather on the front and you've got 80s, 90s and 100. 100 is the better one to use. So you need to put a needle in your machine that's about 100 and a leather needle. I've got my walking foot on and I'm going to put my stitch length to 5. That really does help a lot. So I put that up to 5 and we're ready to go. First of all, I'm going to show you how to make the strap. So this is the faux leather, and you can see it's a lovely soft one. So that's available on my website if you wanted any of that. And I've cut a piece to the same. Now I'm just doing a short piece to show you how we did the strap because it takes quite a long time to turn. So I've got one prepared. So all I did was do a 1 centimetre seam, back tack at the beginning and end. Now don't go over it too much because it could perforate it and actually tear your fabric. So just go over it once. Sew to the end, back tack again and take that out. Repeat on the other side. It will sew quite quickly because you've got a wide stitch length on there. This bit is quite important, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut leave about 1/8 of an inch seam. I've done all the research for you to make it easier for you to actually do this. So if you leave that on, it's very difficult, A, to turn, and B, to stitch through all those layers. So you're leaving just about 1/8 of an inch, and I'll show you how I turn it through without damaging the faux leather as well. So just snip all that off. This is not the one I'm going to use, obviously. It's too short, unless you want a short handle. Right, these are called forceps, and they actually clip together, so if you're stuffing something, they don't come apart. They've got a little thing on the handle there. But what I use them for is for turning, and it's because they're not sharp at the end and the serrated. So start to turn the fabric to the right side, just to start that off, and then put the forceps inside. And what you want to do is, while it's inside, grab the fabric. Don't do it on the faux leather side because it will pull the top layer off. So just grab that and start to pull it through. Because you've trimmed off all those sides, it does make it quite a lot easier. So put it inside again, just open that out, put it inside, grab the fabric and pull. And just make that job a little bit easier for you to do. So you would pull that the whole way through, and I've got one here that I did earlier, and just top stitch down each side. I will have to actually finish this because I want to show you how to put the D-rings on, because I've already done that as well, just to save a bit of time. So I'll just quickly pull this through and show you how to do the D-rings on the end. So you just put the forceps inside, grab the fabric and pull. Open it out, grab the fabric, try and only get one layer and pull. Right, that should be enough for me to show you. So you would top stitch on there, and I will just find a D-ring, she says. So not one there, just 2 seconds. So what you need to do is put the D-ring in there, fold over. Now I might be better off actually top stitching, but we'll see how we go. And we're going to sew across there just to hold that D-ring on. Put it under your machine and start in the middle. Do a couple of stitches and go back. That's so it doesn't push off the ends. So to the end, back tack, and take that out. Cut that. Oh, I've got a pleat in there. But this is just the one I'm showing you. I'm going to just top stitch this to keep it all flat because it's moving about too much. I'm only going to top stitch a little bit just so I can show you. Right, now I use this glue, which is a fabric glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit onto there and a little bit onto the inside, and I'm going to fold that over. I'm going to put that through. I'm going to put a little bit more of this glue and fold it over, and that just keeps it in place because you can't pin the faux leather because it will leave marks through the leather. So another thing that's really useful are these little clips. So just clip that on there each side and just let that dry for a few minutes before you stitch across there. Now again, start in the middle, back tack to the end, and then sew to the end and then back tack. That way it stops it pushing off. Now I've got that already done, but that's how you do your strap, and then this piece goes inside your bag. So for building the actual bag, this is your pattern piece, and you can see here you've got a line. This line is the front of the bag, so that makes all the back, this comes over the front, and that makes your flap. So this is where you would cut off for your front piece. So you will end up with a piece like this, which is the, actually that's where, the front and the flap, and then a piece like this, which is your front. I've stuck the wadding on, and you can see I've cut it down. Again, it's to reduce bulk, so that I will sew around there. That's why I've stuck it with a fabric glue, or a bookbinding glue will do it. Now we need to put the gusset on. So keep your stitch length on 5, and again, because we can't pin, those little clips are really good for just holding your piece while you work. I don't usually clip it, but just so that you can see. Clip all the way around. It does give a little bit, so it's not that hard to sew. Once you know the things to use on your machine and the needles to use, you won't have a problem so long as you take it slowly. But the actual bag is quite quick to put together. So just clipping all the way around. These clips are absolutely fantastic for this. Around that curve. Onto the other side. To the end. And if you have a little bit left over like I have, just snip that off. It's better to have too much than not enough. So now I'm going to just stitch all the way around here. Again with a 1 cm seam, a couple of stitches and then back tack. Take off your clips as you go. If you don't have a walking foot, you could use a gliding foot or a Teflon foot, but a walking foot does make it a lot easier. So I'm just making sure I don't get any pleats in here. You can slow your machine down to a really slow stitch if you're not sure. Taking your clips off as you go. to the end. And then back tack again. So now on the back and the flap you can see I've put a little mark. That is where I need to start sewing for the front piece. I'm not going to clip it because you see me do that last time, so I'm just going to do this one as I would ordinarily. Now I would have used my Renaissance machine, my Super Jeans one, but I just wanted you to see that I can still use my ordinary sewing machine for sewing this kind of fabric. So you don't have to go out and buy a special machine. Just try the things that I've discovered work and you should be okay. You can already see it's beginning to form a handbag shape. These make fantastic Christmas gifts. Back up to where you started. So now you can see your bag is more or less constructed. For the lining, I've done exactly the same, but on one piece I've left a turning gap there so that I can turn the handbag through. So it's exactly the same as I did on the faux leather, but I've left the turning gap. So now it comes to doing the handles. If you're wanting a long strap, then obviously you do it as long as you need. I've got my little pieces on there. These are now going to go inside, so we want that side showing, so we need to put that in between those seams in the gusset. Put a little clip on. Put all your strap on the inside, making sure it's not twisted, and put that one in the other side. Put all that inside, and now we're going to sew across that to hold that in place. So make sure you put those seams out of the way, make it as thin as possible, so just line that up at the top. Stuck on something. Back tack. And repeat on the other side. So move the seams out of the way. Put that under your foot. Centrally. And there you've got your strap sewn in. So now what we need to do is take the lining, turn the lining to the right side, put that inside there, and just put a few clips to hold it all while you make sure it's the right size. So clips on the top there, down to the where the handles are, line up those seams there and put a clip. Same on the other side, a little clip there, and then you will see that it goes across there, across the front, and that fits on there perfectly. So how we sew this, I find the easiest way, because you've got the seams that change there. Sew from the back all the way around, take it out, move the seams to the back, and then sew around the front and over the straps. Being careful with the straps, because you're adding another layer to that. So make sure that seam goes to that side, line up those seams there. I'm going to take my base off, which gives me a little bit more room here to move, and it's probably easier for you to see. So you can see the seam there, lay that flat and put it under your machine. I will move my hand in a second when I've got it in. So you can see where I had my other stitches. Right, so that's just hold it in place now while I start to sew. So forward and reverse, and then just sew all the way around. Just take a little bit of manoeuvring, but it's worth taking that bit of time. Slowly on the curve. Oh, my bobbin's run out. How inconvenient. Just get a new bobbin. I should have changed that before I started. And it always goes on the trickiest one to line up. Back in action. Start again. So again, open that out there. You can see the stitches where I'm going to start to sew. Well, at least you get to see it again. So back round. Slowly around the corner. Because that's the main piece that you're going to see. You don't want to go wonky there. Keep it all lined up. Take off your clip and open out those seams toward the front and sew down to those stitches where you started. Take it out. Now line up those side seams and you're going to sew all the way from here all the way around. So put the seams to the back now. And take this slowly because you've got all those thicknesses there on your straps, and make sure you sew over the stitches where you sewed the strap in, or the handle. So a couple of stitches forward. If you're not confident, turn it down to a very slow stitch, and that way you can't mistakenly press too hard. You see how slow that's going? I do like to go a little bit faster, so I'll just speed it up a little bit. Keeping all your edges lined up. So across the front. When you get to the other side, you should just check where your handle is and make sure you sew across the stitches that you previously sewn there. And sew to where you started on the flat piece. Back tack to hold it all in place. And take that out. Now this bit's quite important because this is what's going to make it all lie nice and flat. So what you want to do is, on these curves you need to cut out some little V's. Be very careful not to snip into your stitches. This will make it lie nice and flat when you've got it the right side. So again, on the other curve here, just snip up to the stitch line but not into it. You need a good pair of scissors for this. And now here, this part here, you want to cut, but not cut into the stitches, so you want to cut some of this bulk out. Trial and error, cut a small amount first. If you find that you need more, go back in and cut it afterwards. It's much better to do it that way than to cut too much out in one go. Right, now the moment of truth. Get it all through this little turning gap. And believe it or not, that is your bag done apart from the clasp, which we have done in a previous video, but if we've got time I'll do it, but I want to show you the little purse too. So we'll see what time we've got left at the end. Do not, whatever you do, try and iron this. It will totally ruin your fabric and all your good sewing will have been wasted. So what I did was I creased it all with my fingers and thumbs and then stuffed it with something to get the shape until it started to hold its own shape. Right, so that's the front of the bag. There. Just get the flap and turn the flap through. This is the best bit about sewing. Put your hands inside and just push the seams out. Make sure your corners are nice, which they are. Make sure you haven't got any of your stitches showing here and here, which we haven't. Stuff the lining to the inside. You would sew that opening either by hand or with your machine on a very close stitch. So this is what I did to make it all lie flat. Just went over it a few times with my hands. I'm going to put a few clips on and I'll do the purse, and if we've got time I'll come back and do the clasp, but if not, look on the video for the pipe shoulder bag. That shows you how to do the clasp. So this will then go over the front and you just get that lovely hint of the contrast colour showing, and there you've got your little strap. So that's the bag.